Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Bumbershoot, where we're covering life's chaos with humor and heart. I am in the car right now. I'm driving on the 395 highway, middle of the desert of California, heading to Lake Tahoe for a little family getaway. So we've got two cars, and there's 9 of us. Ahead of me is Alex driving our daughter Mimi, her man Yvonne, and the 2 kids. And in my car, I have Luca in the front seat, Logan in the back seat, and Eden. Eden's like family. She works for us at the restaurants, but we're bringing her on the trip to help with the kids so that we could go snowmobiling and skiing and all the fun things while she stays back with the children. But my car is full of sleepy babies. So they're all asleep, and Tracy's back at work today. Actually, Tracy and Rhonda are back at work today. And I feel like when they are off is when I'm going to be arriving, and it might be a little bit hard for us to connect. I was going to do like a call-in where they could call in and we could all be wherever we are on the same podcast, but I don't think that the timing's going to work out right, and we already missed last week, so I didn't want to go 2 weeks without jumping in here and just giving you guys something to listen to. So I thought, okay, well, what am I going to talk about on the road by myself? It's hard when you can't play off of people. But hey, I talk to myself all the time, so I should do just fine, because I even answer myself and all the things at home. One time it was really funny because I talk to myself even in the office. Like, Allison will be like, "Are you talking to me?" She lost her hearing in her right ear. Not completely, but it's bad because back in 2020, we went to the ACMs in Vegas. It was so awesome. I mean, it was like coming, actually it was 2021. It was spring of 2021. So they were like just back. They weren't requiring masks, but you had to show your COVID shot card thing. And to be honest, none of us had got shots, but we all had cards. So we went, but there was also this concert at Topgolf. It was a charity event, and we got tickets to that. And I just think people were still funny about going into crowds and stuff. So like the tickets were available. We had no idea how cool it was going to be, but we were on the first floor of Topgolf. The stage was there. And if you've been to Topgolf, you know it's not enormous. It's not like, I mean, it's high, but they don't have these big open spaces. So on the first floor was the stage, and they had Luke Bryan, Jordan Davis, Lainey Wilson before she was, like, it was right before she got super popular. Who else? There was another one. Oh, Chase Rice and a few others. So we were freaking out like crazy. It was so cool. We were right by the speaker. This is what brings the story full circle. We were right by the speaker, the right side of the stage speaker. And so our right ears were literally in the speaker. And so a little fun bit. Luke Bryan, I bought him a beer. I think he mentioned like something like, I wish I had a beer, or I don't know, something. So I ran over, bought him a beer, gave it to the security guy who handed it to him. He said thank you, and then he took a drink. And then stupid Jordan, I think it was Jordan, like, are you sure you want to drink that? You don't know what they put in it. And he's like, oh yeah, you're right. And he put it down. And I was like, dang it, that wasn't cool. But anyway, I bought Luke Bryan a beer, and he took a drink of it. So that was really cool. But when we got back to the hotel, none of us could hear at all. Like, we were all, we can't hear anything, And you just think it's like, oh, you know, loud noise, can't hear, it'll come back. Well, all night we couldn't hear. And we started getting kind of panicked. And then we looked it up, and you could literally lose your hearing from loud noises, or like concert speakers, blah, blah, blah. Well, all of our hearing came back except for Allison's. Allison's hearing is not so good in her right ear. And at our desks in the office, I sit to the right of her. So she could never tell if I'm talking to her or talking to myself. is what that whole story was all about. Anyway, so I talk to myself all the time, and I answer myself. So clearly it's not going to be that hard for me. Anyway, I was thinking, we kind of signed off after Christmas, and then we didn't do the Monday before New Year's, but now it's the Monday after New Year's. So I wanted to talk about like how everybody kind of, I don't know if it's resets, but kind of evaluates the last year and then evaluates the year ahead, and kind of what that means to me and how I look at it. You heard us talking about dry January, and Tracy's doing it no matter what, period, exclamation point. Rhonda agreed to do it, and then they talked me into it, but this is very unlike me, but I backed out of it. And we kind of knew it was going to be a little bit, it's not challenging. I don't need to have drinks, but like all the events going on, it's just kind of fun. And, I don't know. I just felt like I didn't really go into it 100%. So it was really easy to back out of it 100%. And with the day, New Year's Day, I'm not going to get into it all, but New Year's Day was a thing. And I was like, okay, I'm already ready for 2027. Forget this whole dry January thing. And I just decided, you know what? I'm pretty like, if I don't feel like it, I don't feel like it. I don't, it's not something. And I didn't feel like, they said they felt cleansed or reset or whatever. And I didn't get that feeling. The only thing I don't miss when I don't have drinks is that I have these like headaches that are inconsistent, so which I will call a hangover in a sense, but there's no rhyme or reason, because I could have the same exact drink or amount of drinks from one day to the next, and it completely affects me differently. So I do take, which I forgot them, I do take these pills that help you like prevent hangovers and stuff, and they do usually really work well. When I drink wine, it's really the issue with wine. And so I don't miss those hangover headaches, we'll call them, because sometimes I even get them before I go to sleep. That's what I don't miss about dry January. But other than that, like, I'm such a variety girl, and I love, like, even I won't have the same drink twice, whether it's a soda, lemonade, it doesn't matter. And I can never make a decision, so sometimes when I can't make a decision, I just drink water. So all in all, I'm not really dwelling on that. And I also feel like I make decisions throughout the year that January 1st doesn't need to be my like go-to decision making for my life. Now, what I do like to do is reflect on last year and kind of say, okay, what about last year do I want to see differently moving forward? And yes, I could do that at any point during the year, but January kind of is symbolic for it. And so that's kind of what I do. I don't make like resolutions about working out or reading a book or, whatever. Last year I did dry January with them, but I don't really make those kind of decisions, but I use it as an overall reflection and say, okay, how did I handle last year and how do I want to handle this year? And, relationships is probably my number one focus. It's not probably, it is. I have really amazing relationships all in all, and I have so much fun in life. But with my marriage specifically, I have a workaholic husband, and I've kind of just like settled to let him work and I play. But I was like, you know what, this year, that's something I want to work on. I want to work on, and it has to be two-sided. So if Alex doesn't participate, then I'm basically screwed. But if he participates, it would be really cool to like kind of have him also reflect on, gosh, before like we had all the restaurants and the businesses, because it's not just restaurants, before we had all these businesses, we did take more time for fun and play and people and together. As a family and as a couple, and I just feel like he's so buried and stressed out. all the time with all the things. And like he says, he's like, I love it. I don't complain. No, you don't. And you do love it. And so it's great. And it definitely keeps him out of trouble because he stays busy and it's a beautiful thing. But sometimes when you get so wrapped up in business, you forget about like the other people in your life. And so that's what I want to help him kind of see. Like, it's great. He's taking, thanks to Mimi being here, he's taking this 4 days off and we're getting away. And Mimi really, like, because he doesn't see her as often, and when we're out in Italy, she's working most of the time. So I feel like he makes a point to take time out for her and for the her kids, which makes us do things as a family. So that's beautiful, and it's a great incentive. But he needs other incentives throughout the year that just give him, time off where we can reset and check out and, spend some time and get to know each other again. So that's kind of what I want for this coming year. Is I don't need a ton. I just want a little more time. And I want it to be time that he lets go of everything and actually can let himself have fun, because he's hilarious. He's super fun. He can be amazing and fun, and that's what I love. I'm all about, give me laughs and fun and carefree, and I'm good. So he's lost that just by being so wrapped up in all of his businesses. So that's what I hope for, and that's what I'm going to be praying for. So I did start getting, I was doing morning devotionals, which are great. They were so good, but with the kids staying with us, it's hard because the babies get up early, and then I can't just go in my living room and sit in quiet time. That doesn't exist with the kids there, which it's fine. It's a little pause, but as soon as they go home, then I'll start doing that again. And just praying for time for Alex to take the time, and not just take the time physically, but take the time mentally and emotionally too. And then I also have reflected on the fact that I'm wound very tight in some ways. Some ways I'm footloose and fancy free, but in other ways I'm wound really tight. So when I start getting I'm very OCD, and I was talking to my sister Brandy about all of this, and I was like, reflecting on our childhood, I can see where I adopted some of this stuff. It wasn't major dysfunction or anything weird, but certain things, they just have an effect on you. Whether it's a one-time event or it was something that, affected for a long term, like divorce or whatever. But I have really gotten to the point where I like things in order to an OCD, obsessively, clean and tidiness. And it is something that makes me crazy in my house, because to me, a mess is one thing left out. And it's always been. And I'm realizing more as the kids are adults that it's more my problem than theirs. Alex, I've had to just deal. He at home is where he doesn't think about anything. So he takes his shoes off, he leaves his hat on the counter, he does all that at home. He's like that at his desk, but not at the restaurants. Obviously they're immaculate, and he's very anal about everything at the restaurants, but at his desk and at home is where he doesn't care, and it makes me insane. So with the kids, I will get so wound up about his lack of cleanliness and tidiness that when they aren't clean and tidy, it's amplified how I act on them. And I had noticed that throughout the years a little bit, but all in all, major notice, because all of it's been put to the test for me over the holidays. So I'll give you an example. Every year for Christmas, we've talked about, I go to the cabin with my mom and that side of the family. And the cabin it's got a lot of rooms, but the common spaces aren't gigantic. So I've had to mind over matter, which I can be very good at. I can get mind over matter. I'm going to let go. I'm not going to be crazy about it. But what I do, I don't lash out on anyone, but I stay busy the whole entire time. Like I'm constantly cleaning up, picking up, putting things away, straightening things, doing dishes. Like I don't stop unless we're in like, okay, we're all opening presents now, or we're all playing a game. So then I'll stop. But otherwise, I don't stop. And it's satisfying for me because it's peace of mind for me, but it's also exhausting because you're just constant. And with Mimi and the kids being here, what's realistic is that a toy will be left out, or the pillows won't be straight, or, whatever. Things are going to be out and about, and that's totally fine. And every Friday, the clean lady comes and she cleans, and everything gets picked up and put away. But it doesn't last, and that's okay because it's normal, and normal people can function like that. But for me, I come home and things are out of place, and now I'm like, it's got in my head, and now I'm starting to pick up again, and then I get frustrated because things aren't in their place. So I don't say anything to anyone because it's not anyone else's problem or fault. It's totally my problem and fault. But that's a thing I have. And so I've really realized that over this last month, I'll say, because not only did I have the cabin, which I can do once a year, but I have the home. There's, 8 people there now. So it's different than it usually is. It's more, I'll say. Dishes don't get put away, dishes in the sink. And it's okay, because that's normal. But for me, I'm wound up. And so not only did so we came off of Christmas, which was at the house, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And then we went right up to the cabin. And imagine the mess on Christmas Eve, because there's a bazillion presents and the kids and the food, and Alex always cooks, like he goes crazy cooking and dishes and everything. So yeah, we had to clean it all up for Christmas Day, and then we have Christmas Day, which everybody's home all day, so then it's like, obviously everything's not staying in its place. And then we go right up to the cabin, and then we stay Thursday night through Sunday at the cabin. I come home, and then Monday was our employee Christmas party, and I might have mentioned it before Christmas, the one that I did before Christmas. That I didn't want at our house. I never wanted at our house, and for these reasons, because people just don't respect your stuff, and it's our home, it's our sanctuary. But Alex, he explained to the staff that night why he likes it at home, and I appreciate the intention. Phew, breathe. Because he says we're a family, and it feels more like a family at home than it does at the restaurant or in the warehouse or whatever. I wanted it at the warehouse. I wanted to have like a big dance party, which I think they all would have loved anyway. But fortunately, not as many. It's sad because I would have liked more employees to have showed up, but fortunately it wasn't the numbers that I thought it was going to be, so I didn't have to be as insane. But I did take an Ativan in the morning and in the afternoon. The boys helped me arrange. I decided I was going to rearrange all the furniture so that it was more open, gave more space in the kitchen. And then I was a little bit worried because my whole house is white furniture, white rugs. And I knew everybody would be drinking wine, so that kind of freaked me out. But anyway, then after we got all that furniture set up and I was really satisfied with that, I was able to take a deep breath. And then, this is like a therapy session, guys. It's funny. And then Logan and I went to go shopping because we had to buy gifts for all the employees coming, because I did a lot thing. Like, well, okay, if you worked for us for this year, less than a year, you pick from these gift cards. If you worked more a year to 4 or 5 years, you get to pick from this lot. 5 to 7, this lot, 7 to 9, this lot, and then over 10, this lot, whatever. So we went to Costco, and I don't know how many hours we spent there, but loaded Logan's truck like things were coming. Actually, Carlo came with us. He had a blast. So everything was piled in, and then I was like, shoot, we need to go get wine. So then we had to go to the warehouse, and we piled on like 6 cases of wine. Carlo, don't tell the police, but Carlo ended up having to sit on a box in the back seat. He had boxes all around him from the warehouse up to our house, which is just a straight shot. But he couldn't, I mean, if we got in an accident, we all would have been smashed with all the boxes. But anyway, Logan went slow, and we got there. Everybody was fine. Don't stress anybody. We used to ride around without buckles all the time, and everybody was fine. Anyway, so then when I got back, I had to go through the list, figure out who had worked whatever years, and put all this stuff in the lots. So that was like an organizational thing, and we were getting ready for the party, and then little ones are running around, and so imagine my anxiousness. So I had to take another Ativan, and then I was fine, and I did fine. It was good. It wasn't as bad as I expected, having everybody over, and everybody had a good time, and we ended up karaokeing, which was really fun. But, somebody threw up in the bathroom, and so that's a bummer because, I don't know who cleaned it halfway, but it only got cleaned halfway, so that kind of sucked. On this, wait, you're turning, okay, I'm gonna go around you. No, I'm not. Sorry, I'm driving, This car was like put on the left blinker, but there was no street, and then they got to the right, so I think they were wanting me to pass them, but then there was cars coming, so I couldn't pass them. Anyway, so I say all that to say, then we had New Year's, and now we're going to Tahoe, which is great because it's a getaway. It's not my house, and it's going to be fun. So I think it'll be a good check out for my brain. But it's something I also feel like I need to kind of work on, is trying to let go of those things that wind me up like that. I probably need to coach myself and say, it's okay that the shoes are there. It's okay that the spatula is on the counter. I don't know exactly how to get myself past it because I'm 52 now. But I realize that it's something that I should probably work on. And I do think it does affect me in other ways, just friends and family having to deal with me when I'm in those frame of minds. So I'm sorry to all of you that have had to deal with me when I'm wound up like that. But it is something I'm going to try to be mindful of. So this year, that's my goal, is to kind of relax, take it down a notch. I can't expect to change completely, but I can maybe try to take it down a notch and let go a little bit in certain ways. So that's my goal. So if you're ever around me and I'm wound too much, maybe pet my back. That's what I told Brandy to do at the cabin. I'm like, just pet my back. So I realized that I need to take a deep breath. She only did it once, guys. Pretty proud of myself. Only once. Well, maybe she did it twice, but I think one was a valid reason. I can't remember what it was. So anyway, I know Luca decided he's going to work out and cut sugars out. He's actually doing dry January, so I'm super proud of him for that. Logan decided he's going to back off of his Zins. He's not quitting, but he's going to do less. So I'm happy about that. Which those Zyn things, if you guys have heard of them, well, now there's different brands, but I was freaking out when I first found out he did it, and I was like, to me it was like smoking or whatever, and chewing tobacco, and I was just freaked out, and I still don't love it. It's a habit. He likes it. It gives him that buzzy feel that he wants, but there's so much information about them being good for you. So apparently nicotine can be good for you. It's in the cigarette, it's the tobacco that makes it bad, and I guess in chew, obviously chew is just tobacco. Apparently these nicotine things, it's like a nicotine patch, but it's under your gum, and it has not so far, they're still pretty new, but hasn't shown to affect your gums or anything. And he went to the dentist and told them that he Zynned, I guess they call it, and they said, your mouth looks perfect. So, but I told Logan, I said, it doesn't really matter whether something's harmful or not. Well, it does. That's even worse. But I have a problem with like addictive personalities, and he has addictive personality. Alex does too. Alex is a nail biter and a smoker, and Logan bites his knuckles, which is a weird habit. And then, he does Zen. So he clearly has an addictive personality as well. Luca is probably more like me. I don't have addictive personality. So for Logan, I like that he's like telling himself to cut back, because then that's a discipline, and it's disciplining against his addictive way. So I'm proud of him for that. I hope both of the boys stick to it. Alex, the last few years, has quit smoking every New Year's, and last year I think it lasted like 8 months, which was a really long time. But sometimes I think it's better that he does smoke, because he's so wound up with all his stress from the businesses that it kind of mellows him out. But he also works out, which has helped too. So hopefully he stays focused on that. Anyway, I can't really ask you guys what you're doing to approach 2026, but I'm sure most people have something that they've thought of or decided for this coming year. So good luck to you for that, and I pray that you stick to whatever it is that you've decided to commit to on whatever level it is. And 2026 is a year that I feel like I'm excited for Stars of the Valley. It's a month away, which is quite crazy. And I really pray that, it's so stressful because we don't sell much before January, but the event is a month later once you hit January. So it can be really stressful. So anybody sitting on buying tickets, please do it so we can start seeing some action. But that is something I pray about. We put a lot into it. We have to invest in it, especially golf, because we got to invest in the gifts, golfer gifts. So I just pray that we sell out, or at least sell the minimum sellout. And then for the gala as well, we have to commit to numbers. And so really just pray, if you don't mind praying that we sell tables and foursomes, that would be amazing. And even sponsors really help take the chunks out of the costs, which make it a lot easier. This year for Stars, we have a magician, I think I might have mentioned, and we talked to the magician, and he's performs at the Magic Castle, so he's a very good quality magician, and he's super excited. So I'm excited for all the attendees to experience the magic of the night. Play on words. And then I will be planning. I already started, but I will be planning for the big 20th anniversary, which will be February of 2027. So I feel like it's kind of funny because I don't usually work that far ahead, but I'm having to do that. And so I feel a little guilty, like am I just skipping over 2026 here? Oh, by the way, what I was going to say about New Year's Day, that was a day that I decided for the first time in a long time I was just going to do my own thing on New Year's Day, because I usually do whatever Alex dictates basically on that day, or on holidays in general. But I decided to take the day for myself. So I went to a movie. I saw Sing Sang Song, or Song Sung Blue. That's what it is. Such a cute, good film. I was literally the youngest by probably 20 years and in the theater, but it was so good and made me cry. And I didn't even know about these people that did the Billy Joel tribute, so it was cool to know that. And so anyway, I saw that, and then I went to lunch, and I walked around the mall, and I got a massage, so that was cool. And then oh, there's a police officer. I passed back there, but that's okay. Hopefully he won't turn around and catch me. You're allowed to pass. Yeah, okay, he's good. He parked. He stayed parked. Good boy. Anyway, so then Logan's like, Mom, you want to go to a movie? And I was like, yeah. So I go into my second movie, which was The Housemaid. Oh, that's a good movie. And halfway through it, I get a text from my dad, and it says, call me ASAP. And I'm like, so, when my 87-year-old dad that is a heart patient calls and says, call me ASAP, I get up, I go out, and I call, and I can hear the distress in his voice, and then he's coughing, and he's like, basically coughing nonstop, trying to tell me he hasn't stopped coughing for hours, and I could hear he's getting panicked because he's like having a hard time catching his breath. And so I said, okay, well, let me see if Luca's home, if he has any cough syrup he can bring you. Did you take anything? He's like, I did a spray. So I call Luca. Luca was in the middle of a movie at the house. He's like, Mom, I only have like Tylenol, cold, and flu. And I go, well, okay, we'll bring it to him so he can feel like he's taking something. And then I thought to myself, I can't like tell him to give it to him and then tell everybody, okay, wait 20 minutes for this medicine to kick in and let me know if he's better while I sit in my movie. So I decided to leave the movie, and I called my dad back, and I could just hear he was panicked. So I thought, you know what? He needs to go in. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how long he's been doing this. I don't know who, what, when, where, why. It could be bronchitis. It could be pneumonia. I was with him the night before. He was just with me at New Year's Eve, and he didn't cough one time. But he said he'd been coughing all day. So I went and picked him up, took him to the ER, and there I was for 3 hours. Actually, our sweetheart doctor friend called ahead, and he got us expedited pretty quick. It was a busy night. But then we weren't an emergency case, and I understand how it operates in there because all the emergency cases have to be before. And my dad stopped coughing. Of course, Murphy's Law, right? You get to the hospital, and he stops coughing. So he stopped coughing. We sat there. He had gone in for EKG and an chest x-ray, but it was like an hour and 45 before they told us the results, which I figured the EKG was fine. Otherwise, they would have reacted quicker. But the chest x-ray ended up being fine. And we got to go home. And so I was 2 nights out till I think I got home at like 1 or 1:30, and then Logan was home, and we stayed up and watched TV for a little bit until I wound down and then got tired and went to sleep. So I was like, well, that wasn't a way to ring in the 2026. So hopefully it's not a sign of the year. I'm going to be an optimist. My glass will be half full because that is how I choose to approach life 90% of the time. So anyway, I'm looking ahead and just praying for a beautiful Stars of the Valley, a successful Stars of the Valley, and fulfilling wishes for these incredible individuals, our beneficiaries, and and just being all together there, old beneficiaries, new beneficiaries, all the things. All right, you guys. Well, apparently I have no problem talking alone. I am 33 minutes into this, and I'm going to let you go. But that's not all. Oh, Eden just woke up to me talking, so she thinks I'm trying to talk to her. That's not all. We'll be back next week. I do believe we have Sarah next week, the one that we recorded before, and it never recorded the voice. So she'll be back, and so I'm excited. Then we have Joshua scheduled, and I have a few other bennies that are in the lineup, so can't wait to continue our series with our beneficiaries. It's been really fun. All right, you guys, take care. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to subscribe. And we're on Instagram, Bumbershoot Charity. Bye.